to Through the Bible. Our story today is about two good friends, David and Jonathan. 1 Samuel chapters 17 to 20. Saul was a strange man. Though David had played the harp for him in his palace, when the young man came to him and asked to be allowed to fight against Goliath, he did not recognize him at all. After the victory, he sent his general Abner to find out who the man was and to bring him to the royal tent. There, David told him he was the son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, and he was taken again into the royal household, but this time as a leader amongst the warriors. Of course, the king was very glad about the victory over the Philistines, but when the soldiers returned home again, his whole mood changed. The news of the killing of Goliath had spread throughout the land, and in village after village, the women came out, singing and dancing and praising David for what he had done. Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s, they sang, and Saul was very jealous. The very next day, Saul was in one of his black moods again, and once more David played on the harp to soothe him as he had done in the days before the war. But this time Saul was holding a javelin in his hand, and so great was his jealousy that he threw it at David and tried to pin him to the wall. Twice it happened, and each time David managed to jump aside. You will remember that Saul had promised to give his daughter to be the wife of the man who killed Goliath. When the time came, Saul, however, deceived David and gave his daughter Merab to Adriel the Meholathite. David had been sent away to fight once more against the Philistines. Saul hoped secretly that they would kill him, and when he came back, he found that Merab had already married. But Michal, Saul's second daughter, loved David, and this was reported to the king. Once again he sent David off to fight against the Philistines. But this time, when he came back, the marriage had to be held, and David became Saul's son-in-law. Saul's hatred for David was so great that he told all his servants and even his eldest son Jonathan to look for a chance to kill the young man. Jonathan was most upset because he loved David. He went at once to tell his friend to hide himself. Then very bravely he went to his father and reminded him of how David had risked his life to kill Goliath and had thus saved Israel. He pleaded with the king not to harm David, and at last Saul promised, "As truly as the Lord lives, I will not harm David." So David was brought back to the palace again and served the king as in the days gone by. Soon there was war against the Philistines again, and David led his men to fight them. Soon the victory was won, and David came home a greater man than ever, but more hated by Saul than ever. It was not long before Saul tried to kill him with a javelin once again, and David had to flee out into the darkness. But this wasn't all. Saul even sent spies to watch David's house and to wait for him and kill him in the early hours of the morning. Michal warned David that if he did not escape in the night, Saul's spies would kill him. So she let him down quietly from a window into the darkness and he slipped away to safety. Then Michal put an image in David's bed with a pillow of goat's hair to make it look as if he was asleep. When the spies came looking for David, she told them that he was sick. When they came a second time, she had to take them to the bed to look, and when they reported to Saul what they had found, he was very angry with Michal. However, David was safe. He had gone to Ramah to see Samuel the prophet to tell him what had happened. It was not long before Saul heard where David was, and he sent men to capture them. But when they found him, he was worshipping with Samuel and all the other prophets, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon them all, so that they worshipped too, and could not touch David. A second and a third time, the same thing happened. And then Saul went himself, but the Spirit of the Lord took hold of him too, and he spent a day and a night at worship with Samuel and the rest of the prophets. One day, David met Jonathan and asked him what he had done that Saul should hate him enough to kill him. Jonathan tried his best to tell David that this was not true, but David explained to him that Saul was hiding his evil plans from his son because he knew how much he loved David. The two young men made a plan together. Jonathan would go back to the palace and see how Saul felt about David. David should be there to feast with the king at the festival of the new moon, but he would stay away. If Saul missed him, then Jonathan should say that David had asked permission to be at Bethlehem for a family feast. Out in the field that day, they made a special promise to each other too. If it happened that Saul was still angry with David, it would not be allowed to make any difference to their friendship. David and his family would remain the friends of Jonathan and his family even after Jonathan's life was over. This was a wonderful agreement. Jonathan worked out a plan for telling David how Saul felt about him. On the third day of the feast, he would come to the place where they were now talking and bring his bow and arrows and a little boy to run and fetch the arrows. He would shoot 3 arrows and send the boy after them. David should be hidden in the bushes nearby, and if he heard Jonathan shout to the boy that the arrows were on this side of him, then all was well. But if he shouted that they were further away, then David should get away as quickly as possible. So Jonathan went to his father's feast. On the first day, Saul said nothing about David's absence. On the second day, though, he asked Jonathan why David had not come to the feast. Then Jonathan did as he had been arranged. He told Saul that David had asked to be excused so that he could attend the family festival at Bethlehem. Saul was fearfully angry with David and with Jonathan too for being David's friend. He told Jonathan that as long as David remained alive, he could never become king himself. He must fetch David immediately so that they could kill him. But Jonathan asked, why should he be killed? What wrong has he done? That made Saul so angry that he threw his javelin at his own son, just as he had done before at David. Jonathan immediately got up from the table and went away because his father was behaving so shamefully. Early the next morning, he went out to the agreed place with his bow and arrows and gave David the sign he had promised. However, he loved his friend so much that he could not let him go without saying goodbye. He sent the boy back to the city with his bow and arrows. Then David came out of hiding, and the two young men wept together and kissed one another. Before they parted, Jonathan blessed David with these beautiful words: "Go in peace, and the Lord see that we keep the promise we have made to be friends together and our children after us forever."